All right. Hello, everybody. Normally, as you know, I usually have a camera for this. I am having to use my phone today. I kind of blame King Show, like that lives near me. I think they broke a camera and broke into my house and traded cameras with me. But anyway, today for our show, our special guest today is none other than John Lesser, aka Rage,
What's
and we
going
also
on?
Chaos.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Thanks for
How's
coming
it
to the
going,
show.
guys?
Good, good.
Yeah, good.
All right.
Anyway, I wanted to start off today, and I'm glad Chaos wanted to join as well. Can't have Rage without Chaos.
That's it. That is it.
So, how's everything going up there? Since all this, pandemic, I'm tired of even saying the word. To be honest with you.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean it's been quiet as far as wrestling goes. It's been pretty quiet. But I got a show coming up in 2 weeks in Jersey. New York itself, pretty much it's not nothing's gonna probably happen until like next year sometime.
Oh.
Yeah, I've seen kind of like gradually. It seems like I know there's like maybe two or three shows about 25, 30 minutes from my way that's starting to pick back up. It seems like, but it's all spread out. It seems like, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a weird startup. Everybody don't know how to really start it up. I guess you can say.
Yeah. Nobody knows how to prepare for how to deal with it now, keeping people apart and all that type of stuff. So
And normally I like to start out with I call them grand finale questions but I always start them at the first. So, how'd you get into wrestling?
I actually got into it because my son, we went to a live wrestling event and it was an indie show. And I kept getting mistaken for being a professional wrestler on the card at the time. And my son laughed and said, "You should get into it." And he was about 16, 17 at the time. And we talked to one of the guys and they told us about his school. And we went together and I stuck with it. He had college and a band at the time. So he kind of dropped out. And that's the story right there. That's how it started.
And then the way I got into it was I kept going to his shows, and I was the loudest person in the audience. And I was like, you know what? There are people who get like walked out by a girl. What if I do that? And then he was like, hell yeah, go to class. And then I did go to class.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. I talked to you I think 4 years ago, and I had just gotten into Super Show. So Rage was actually my first competitor that I first bought and built, and then I was talking to you and everything. You've been nice to me, and which I still got your mask.
Awesome.
I've practically been in the Rage Army for about 4 years now. I still
Yeah.
got your poster,
Very cool.
and I still have you built. So it's good to see you in Super Show and everything. I'm happy to see your finishers and stuff come in,
Yeah.
which now you've got three.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, as
But,
someone who's new in the Super Show, I'm hoping Steve will get around to reprinting it at some time. For all us new players
Nope.
get into the game.
Yeah. I mean, the show's getting bigger.
Yeah.
I mean, now they got RVD in there now, so.
Yeah. I'd rather have
Pretty
you
cool.
right now over him at the moment, but.
We got to get on Steve's case then.
Yeah, definitely.
How'd you first talk to Steve and everything? How'd you get acquainted with him?
I was at a wrestling show, and he had a table set up where I think he just started the game. And he had a couple competitors in the indies from House of Glory on it. And he came up to me during intermission and said, "You'd be perfect for this card game. What do you think?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I'll do it. Definitely." So that's how Rage was born in the card game. So
It's awesome.
I am still expecting a Chaos competitor. I know she's got an entrance.
yes. Right now she's got the entrance. She should. I mean, she does a hell of a hurricanrana.
Yeah, that'd be a
So
lot of
I've
fun.
seen that. But how did it feel when you first, when you came into the game? How did it feel when you first got your competitor?
it was pretty exciting. I mean, Steve sent the cards over to my house, and I got to check them out before they were like completely finished, and I was just dumbfounded. It was awesome, having your image created like that, and then to be put on a card, to where your name's getting out there, and people are like, who's this guy, and he's a professional wrestler, But it's pretty cool. It's very cool. I actually am honored that I'm part of the card game.
Yeah, we were talking, which we actually had Mr. Poppin' Twist here last weekend, or last week, I should say, not weekend. But he mentioned where you were a tag team there for a little bit, had a storyline.
Yes. I'm not too familiar with the storyline that he had though with me and him, but I know it was very creative. It was very good.
And Jeff, I'll also ask, do we have any questions or anything in the Twitch?
I should always in the Twitch.
Do you want to know what it was?
The storyline?
Yeah, Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the long story short of it was that in the storyline, it was based on the way things happen in real life. Papa Twist wins the contract, but then the XCW basically jump him en masse, taking his contract and taking his shirt. Lemmy Adam took his shirt. So Papa Twist had to train and make his own team of guys to help him out, and Rage was the guy who took him under his wing to help him learn how to wrestle.
Very cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if somebody took my shirt that Mick Foley gave me, I would be full of rage too. Trust me.
Oh yeah. We do have a comment in the Twitch from the phenomenal one, Kirk Polka. He wanted to thank KAOS for helping manage himself and Thomas Gordon to the and the New World Order to the Origins Tag Team Championship.
Awesome.
He wants to know if there's
Very
any
cool.
way to get your cards signed by the both of you.
Yeah, I mean, if they send it to us, we'll send it back out.
All right.
Autograph, no problem.
All right. There you go, Kirk. And also for people who are in the Zoom chat or on Twitch, obviously on Twitch, you can just write questions in the Zoom chat. You can ask them. There's a raised hand feature, which will most of the time get someone's attention. And if he's have any questions, you can use that and we'll ask it. But in the meantime, Dustin, while people formulate their thoughts, do you have any other questions?
I was kind of thinking, will we ever see an alternate art Rage?
An alternate art Rage?
Yeah, with a different artist done and maybe new art, new picture. Maybe
Oh,
different
yeah,
face
never
paint.
know.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. So I new to the game and not as familiar with the New York wrestling circuit and whatnot. So I'm not as familiar with you. What promotions do you generally get around to and wrestle in?
Right now, I've been a part of Fight the World Wrestling Federation here in New York. There's NEW, which is New Evolution Wrestling, and ACW, which is Alpha Championship Wrestling.
Okay. And obviously, right now they're pretty not going. But do they have places for tape buying, or I'm saying tape buying because I'm older, but like for the internet pay-per-views? I don't think people buy tapes anymore.
I know they're on YouTube. They're on Facebook. So I mean, there's definitely links for the different shows and matches. As far as selling the tapes and stuff like that, I don't think they have tapes for sale. But
okay, yeah, well, yeah, I mean,
you got a VCR, maybe.
I mean, I do somewhere, but yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, I'm older. So yeah, wrong terminology.
That's
for
also-
modern day.
That's also a cool thing. Also, with back then, I was a newer player, so when I saw that I was getting a an independent Rage competitor set, I was like, wonder who this Rage guy is. So I started, I looked you up and stuff like that, and I got to watch those matches, and and learn about you. So, you were talking about getting your name out and stuff like that. That's what helped me actually kind of. I was like, okay, I'm playing Rage.
Yeah, you're a perfect example. I mean, it's awesome, man. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. All right. So we do have a couple things in the Twitch chat. So the Hidden Threat would like to know, does M. Vader sound familiar? He used to wrestle for FTW, and he is friends with him.
What's the name again?
M.
Vader?
Vader.
M. Vader. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't sound familiar to me.
All right. And then we have the SRG boss says in the chat, unfortunately, the last time he saw KAOS, she was not in the best condition. However, he knew she was tough as hell with parents like that who couldn't be. How is she feeling? She looks amazing.
Thank you. I feel a lot better, honestly. Like, I pretty much wasn't able to walk after surgery for a little while, like for a couple of months. But now I'm able to do basically everything, I think, right? Like, pretty much I'm back to the way I was before surgery, so that's good.
Better than ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the boss clarified apparently the name was Master Vader.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I think I do. But that's going back, though.
Yeah, I don't know the person at all, so I don't know the reference. And the Phenomenal One wanted to follow up on the contacting you. Is it easier through Facebook or Twitter? For that?
Yes, Facebook.
Stuff? Facebook. Okay.
Facebook.
All right. Anyone in the room have any questions? I mean, you can unmute and ask questions if you'd like to. People are intimidated.
Ah!
All right.
Don't worry, we're not gonna bite.
Well,
One thing I was gonna get into, Rage, is a couple years ago I remember when you had your big injury that you had.
Yeah.
And I know back then you were kind of you weren't sure if your career was over, if you was able to come back. How was I like to ask how was you feeling back then, but I couldn't imagine. But how was it just knowing when you first hit that ring, after not knowing if it was over or not?
Yeah, it was rough, but I came back while I still had the cast on, and once you get into the ring, it's just the adrenaline, and you're gonna miss that. You know what I mean? It's a weird feeling you get, and there was no way I was gonna quit. There was no way I was gonna stop. I mean, even if I was crawling into the ring, I would have crawled into the ring. But as far as like healing and stuff like that, I was very lucky. It healed well. It was an ankle injury, in case anybody was wondering, and it did almost put me out though. I mean, it was scary. I mean, my foot was like this in my boot. It was pretty bad, but now I'm back.
You were making dad jokes though the whole time.
Yeah, I was trying to keep her laughing because she was there with me, but
I was just like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "They told me to break a leg. I don't think they meant this." And I'm like, "Oh my God, Dad, stop! You look like you're dying. Stop."
All right. So we have let's go with the first question from Nico, the Lucky Cat. Would she like to ask a question?
I have 2 buttons on my microphone. It turns out that can mute it, so that's learning new things every day.
Yeah.
Well, as a person who's both new to SRG and a person who's new to watching wrestling, I like to kind of ask around and figure out. I guess this kind of is 2 questions, so I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
What are some of your favorite moves or maneuvers, and why?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I guess as a fan, I would have to say, I mean, certain maneuvers that I liked probably were from some certain wrestlers that I idolized as a fan. Like the Stone Cold Stunner was cool. What else? Superfly, flying off the top rope was always cool. I'll be honest with you, as a fan, I love to watch the high flyers, but myself as a wrestler, I don't do much of that. But I do respect that. I think that's the reason why, is because I don't do it. But these guys are just phenomenal sometimes. Some of the stuff that they pull off the top rope is just incredible.
Yeah, personally, my favorites are probably also like the high flyer things. I also like when girls do it because their hair just goes flying and it looks like beautiful. It looks like a painting or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so much more intense when you see all that hair just go woof like a tornado.
Fair.
Yeah, cool beans.
All right. So after that, we have the current LFF World Champion who would like to ask a question.
Sure.
Hey, what's up, Raging Chaos?
What's going on?
Not much.
I like
I just
that
have a question.
skull.
Of course. I got to represent for you, my man. As somebody who's local, that's seen you around here a lot and all. As for on the wrestling side, which has been your favorite run to have? Your old babyface or your current heel run?
Oh, I have to say the babyface was fun, man. I like the babyface. I do. Because I think it's a lot harder. I think it's a lot harder to get people to like you than it is for people to hate you. You know what I mean?
Able to push more merch as a babyface than as you are as the heel.
Yes, that's good too. Man. You know, you got to try and stay cool while you're a bad guy, you know, and then you can push the merch.
All right, man.
All right. And we also have a question, apparently, from the new Steve, who's in the Zoom room. If he would, as mentioned on Twitch. So, if you'd like to unmute yourself, Steve, you can ask your question.
Sure.
See if he can.
That me, Foxworthy?
Yeah, that's you. You're the only Steve in here.
Oh, all right. We got the other Steve and the other Steve. So you.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
think you're
not
up
used
this
to you
early.
throwing the shoot name around here, Mr. Foxworthy. Raging Chaos, how are you guys? You guys look awesome.
Good, how are
like I
you?
said before.
Yeah.
A couple questions. One, not so serious. How do you keep those biceps so pumped up? I'm trying to get like you, Rage.
Get a 6-pack of beer and just keep going.
One by one. The second one, I think is a little interesting, and I was thinking about it because we did a comic book panel with you as the bouncer in one of the first issues
Yes.
we did. So when they
Yes.
slide the metal door, you get to look at your face paint, and a lot of people might not know, but your face paint is done in-house.
Yes.
And I know you love pop culture, as we can see by all the body art. You do a lot of, some classic horror and stuff. Was there any specific inspiration for the face paint, or is this just something that you kind of pieced together and made your own thing?
It's a combination. Well, it actually originated from, I don't know if you ever heard of King Diamond.
No.
All right, he's like a death metal kind of singer.
Yeah.
And I was tweaking his makeup and realized that I just kind of finagled it to look a little bit more original. That's pretty much where it came from. The other idea I came from, believe it or not, was Kiss. And that's where I got into doing my merchandise, was because I saw an interview with Gene Simmons, and he says, if we could put makeup on anything, we can sell it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Kiss, I could definitely see the inspiration. I'll tell you that I think I was so drawn to Rage when I first met him, not because he had the cool look, he was this big badass looking guy, but the guy had merch for everything and a lot of stuff they were doing at home, in-house. Some of the things you could pick up, like the skulls that you were showing off. Is it you specifically who painted? Is it your wife? I remember it was either you or a family affair, but I don't remember the details.
Yeah, it's me that paints it. So if you get a Rage skull, it's painted by Rage. If you get a Rage mask, it's painted by Rage.
And also, if you get KAOS stuff, it's usually painted by me.
Nice. So
That's
there you go.
awesome.
That's a cool way to support a little multifaceted, multi-talented there. But guys, thank you so much. Great to see you. I hope to see you guys in person.
Yes.
Whenever you guys are ready,
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We also, Void would like to ask a question as well.
Well, Rage, it's an honor, and I've actually reached out to you personally. And, I am a fan of King Diamond and Kiss, so I could see the resemblance. I could see your inspiration to everything, and I will be in contact with you again after for the competitor to be signed. I will send that your way, and as well, I have KAOS's card as well, so I would like for her to sign that as well. But my question is, in your career in wrestling, what is probably by far your most iconic memory so far as being in the wrestling ring? Like, what is the most infamous match that you have that is instilled into your brain still to this very day?
Wow. I would say, believe it or not, it's a story where I was wrestling Just Incredible. And I think I was wrestling for about 3 or 4 years at the time. And we were in the back room, we were discussing the match, and Just Incredible asked me what my finisher was, and I told him, and he goes, okay, so that's what you're going to do to get over, go over, meaning I'm going to win. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, you're going over. I said, listen, I talked to the promoters, they said, you're going over. Well, there wasn't an argument, but I was very like, wow, this guy's going to put me over. So anyway, what happened was Just Incredible laid down and let me put him over, put myself over, which I thought was so cool. And it was just incredible. I honestly, it was just incredible. Seriously, I was honored by that. It was really cool. And it was nice because he saw something in me that he said, you're going over, and that stuck with me forever, honestly.
Awesome. And what about you, KAOS?
Personally, I think the most memorable match, to be honest, was the Rage versus Coach Mamone Mustache versus career match, because it was just so entertaining, to see these two opposite characters fight each other, and like the personalities both came out. It was so much fun to be a part of. It was like the one that I remember the most parts of, and I could be like, oh, I remember what happens next. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for the question, and then thank you for answering.
Thank you for the question. Thanks, man.
Nice makeup.
Oh, it's
very
actually
cool.
It's actually a mask.
Very cool looking, though, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Void.
Yep. All right.
I will ask this, KAOS. How did it feel that, I know that storyline that y'all had there, how did it feel being against Rage there for a little bit?
Honestly, it was very hard because, I was being told, hey, you know how you've been a face for a little bit? Well, now you got to be mean. Now you can't high five kids. Now you can't smile at them. And I was like, oh my God, kids hate me. Like, a couple of times we would like make a kid cry or something, and I'd be like, oh my God, it just felt so awful. I was just sitting there like, I don't like being a heel.
All right. So we do have a question from Master Micah in his Twitch chat. What is your favorite wrestlers of all time? And if you could wrestle anyone, what would your dream matches be?
Favorite wrestlers of all time. I would have, well, there's 3. Jimmy Superfly Snuka, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Randy Macho Man Savage. If I was to wrestle anybody in a match, who would it be? Out of those 3, all 3, but if I had to pick somebody, I'd love to wrestle The Undertaker. I think that would be fun.
Oh, that would be cool.
I think that would be a cool match. Like a flame match or something,
Inferno, yeah.
Yeah, so personally, my favorite wrestlers are Lita and Paige. And I wish that Paige didn't have the neck injury or anything, because I totally would either wrestle her or valet her or something, because we both would look really cool together, I think.
All right. You have another question, Dustin, while I go back to trying to read Twitch?
All right. Now, Rage, I remember seeing in your, in pictures in which you posted when he passed away, Jimmy Fly Snuka. And
yes.
And was he an inspiration to you, or I know you've mentioned him a few times in this so far.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you, if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have even watched professional wrestling. I was a kid when I first saw him, and I was glued ever since then. And I was lucky enough, not to wrestle him, but I was lucky enough to meet him, in the back while I was at a show and actually get to talk to him and pull his ear a little bit and get some knowledge. And he was such a cool guy. Really, really, really nice. Told me a lot of things that were very cool that I keep up here now.
What are, other than him, what is, who's one of the coolest, wrestlers or, famous people you've met that you would say?
Let's see. Well, speaking of the injury, Terry Funk was on that card. And funny story about that is my wife was watching our gimmick table, and Terry Funk's table was right next to hers, and the promoter said, keep an eye on Terry for us. So my wife's like, yeah, no problem. So they would feed him drinks, and he was having a great time. And I had the injury. And someone came running in and told my wife, your husband's hurt. He's, they're calling an ambulance. So she jumps up and goes, what? Terry Funk jumps up and goes, who? And she said, it's my husband. So he charges out there, runs out there, and as they got me up on the gurney and they're bringing me into the ambulance, Terry Funk looks at me, grabs my hand and goes, you'll be all right, brother. You'll be all right, brother. And I thought that was the coolest thing. You know what the first words out of my mouth was when I got to the hospital when my wife drove up and met me there? Did you get that on film? Did you get that on film? And they're like, no, we were worried about you. I'm like, whatever. But that was cool. He was very nice, though. He was a cool guy. Very cool guy.
All right. So another question we got from the Twitch chat is, who are the wrestlers from FTW that people from outside New York should look up and follow?
Brian Idol, who's actually right now, I think he's in Florida. He does a lot of stuff in Florida right now, but he's part of FTW. There's the Rockstar. Who else? The Sicilian Slammer, which is this big monster of a guy, and he's good. You got Grim Reefer, like Reefer.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome. He's been around for a long time, and he's great. So there's quite a few.
West Draven.
Oh, West Draven, that's right. My former tag team partner. He was just, I don't want to get the number wrong, but they had the leading black wrestlers out there right now. I think it was all the wrestlers, I'm not sure, but he was number 300 and something in the list.
Okay.
Which I thought was very cool. So
that is awesome.
Tristan Ty too.
Tristan Ty, who's actually part of MLW now. He hurt his leg. He was one of the guys. I can't think of what the name of the squad is. He wore a mask, and he would take it off.
Him and Kona were in it, right?
No, just Tristan Ty. I can't think of the name of the squad.
I don't remember
the
now.
group. I can't think of them now.
Yeah, I remember the mask. But
anyway, he's part of MLW. He signed over to MLW and still wrestles for FTW when they're around. So.
All right, that's awesome. So, as someone who living in Philly, growing up, how cool is it to be tag team with Pitbull?
Awesome. Yes, very cool. Another great career highlight. Like I said, I'm always honored by certain things like that, and that was very cool because it was a one-night thing where I brought him as my tag team partner, thinking that was going to be it. We're going to go our own ways. I was going to go back to singles, and he was going to, move on to some other fed or something. And he turned to me and said, "Listen," he goes, "let's keep this thing going, and we'll be called the new Pitbulls, and you'll be Pitbull number 3." And I was like, "Wow, all right, awesome, man." So that's how it started. Hopefully, we get a nice run going, but with the virus going on right now, it's kind of hard. He lives in Florida, I'm in New York, so but we'll see what happens. But I was just, like I said, I was blessed by him telling me that he wanted to keep the Pitbulls going, which I always loved that tag team,
Mm-hmm.
and honored that he wanted me to be his tag team partner, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, they were two of the best in ECW, so living on, expanding on that history and heritage is awesome.
Yes, definitely keeping it alive.
Yeah. All right, let me, Dustin, you have another question? I look to see if anyone else has more things. I am not good at multitasking.
You're all good, brother.
Put the VCR away.
Yeah. Oh man.
I know, like, to touch on what we was talking about earlier with Jimmy Snuka, was there anybody else in that generation that, you grew up really enjoy watching?
Yeah, I mean, back then it was a totally different time too. Kayfabe was huge back then. I mean, everybody still believed everything that was on that TV was what goes on outside of that ring when they go home and go wherever. So, I mean, that imagination thing was totally into it. I mean, you had guys on there. And again, like I said, back then, everybody believed everything about it. So you had guys like the Samoans, Mr. Fuji, Mr. Saito, Rocky Johnson, The Rock's dad was there, Tony Atlas, Ivan Putski, the Polish Power. I'm trying to think, Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys were like superheroes. They were phenomenal. You know what I mean? They were just amazing. And the storylines back then were incredible too. I still say those storylines were the best because there was such a build-up for each match that by the time it reached Madison Square Garden inside a steel cage, it was the climax of the feud, and you just couldn't wait to see it,
With me, I'm just 26, so I never got to experience, the territories and, who owns this part, who owns that part. So I think it would be a whole lot. I think back then mine would have been probably Smoky Mountain, wrestling and stuff like that. Yes. So I'm from Kentucky, so
yeah. Well, they had some of the wrestlers would travel from the other territories, like Andre the Giant. I think he was basically all around. Would come into different places. Dusty Rhodes was another one that would come up to New York from the South, and
Yeah. So so that you didn't get oversaturated in any one market, you'd make more money that way. Yeah. I mean, I think the only exception to that, for the most part, was Bruno.
Yes. Yeah.
Bruno, it didn't matter how many times Bruno wrestled in Madison Square Garden; it was going to be a sellout.
It sold out.
Everyone,
exactly.
Everyone's going to be coming out in droves. So another question from the Twitch chat: what are your top 3 matches you've been a part of?
Where?
No, what are they? Like.
Oh, what are they?
Yeah,
top 3 matches I've been a part of. Well, I would say the first top match was for WWO, and it was a 4-way match, and it was for the Open Challenge Championship at the time. And I think, again, like I said, I was very fortunate. I was that must have been like my, I would say, 4th match, and I won the title. And I've had the title ever since. So I've been holding that title for about 6 years now. So whatchamacallit, that was probably a big one. And then again, like when since I'm part of FTW, Fight the World Wrestling, it was also an honor when I was able to capture the heavyweight title from the Rockstar. And that was pretty big, because there's been a lot of great FTW champions. Balls Mahoney, I think Sabu might have carried it for a little while. So I mean, it was an honor to get that title. And then third, I would say just teaming up with certain guys. Like I teamed up with Sabu in a tag team match, and I'm always honored to get into the ring with some of these vets. Besides the fact of getting in there and just being around some of these guys is cool, but it's also the knowledge that you get from them, while you're sitting in the back waiting to go out there. And most of the time, you're the main event, so you're like match number 18, and you're sitting there waiting the whole time. So you really get to talk and chat with these guys and get like a lot of knowledge, which I always love to learn more, you know?
That's awesome. So I know there's always a lot of emphasis on like the moves and everything in the ring, but my question is actually for you, KAOS. How is it like for you and like to craft how you work outside the ring to try to get the crowd into the match and up and down and basically work them into what you need?
It's interesting. It reminds me a lot of when I was a little kid. I did a lot of cheerleading. And I love doing it. I loved working off of how the crowd feels and getting them all pumped up. So a lot of it is remembering chants and when to do them. And then also like being very like big and emotional and stuff, and like, you know, basically just like idolizing whoever you're cheering on. Like it's very energetic. It's a lot of like jumping and cheering and a lot of stuff like that, and like getting upset and booing. It's a very interesting thing to do, but once you get the knack of it, you figure out, okay, where do I have to go? What do I have to do? It becomes more of a second nature. Like I just, you know, I'll just be me in the beginning of the day, and then bam, right when I'm outside the ring, I'm like, oh, now I'm KAOS.
Okay. Was there a different approach when you were working as the bad girl in the match and against
Yes.
Rage?
Yeah. I was definitely a little more nervous to be a heel, but I was very, like, I had attitude, you know.
She was just the self.
Yeah. I mean, you're right.
You little bee, you know.
What's going through my head right now is I'm thinking, oh, it was okay for it to be a heel. I remember that time you grounded me, Dad, you know.
That's funny.
Yeah,
but
it almost comes off as like a stage performance and just an art and moving the crowd, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the way to think about it is every job involved in pro wrestling, everybody has a job to do, and it's not easy. From the referee to the manager to everybody, you all have specific tools and techniques that you have to do, and know when to do them to get that groundbreaking match or awesome show. And it's not easy. It's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, and everyone has to be like on the same page. Even if you're not communicating, you all have to kind of know what you're doing at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It seems like the art of being a valet or a manager is pretty lost in most modern wrestling. Like, again, being a fan of ECW, like Sign Guy Dudley, while not the most impressive person and like you would think of, was amazing at that role of getting the crowd into it because he knew just how to incite the crowd. And it seems like that is a harder thing to do nowadays, and like because the crowds aren't as accustomed to it in like the bigger promotions as much.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
But all right, Dustin, if you have any questions, while I go check Twitter again, or not Twitter, Twitch. English, me not speak.
Can I hop on for a second because I'm driving?
Sure. Oh yeah,
go ahead, buddy.
Man.
You're good.
I just want to say, and John knows this, and I say it publicly all the time. He was part of the biggest gift I ever got in the world of professional wrestling, because I got to be in his corner alongside when he was wrestling Gary Reno in a match, and
Mr. Pop and Twist.
And I got as an because John talks about he was a fan before he got into wrestling. I was a fan. I'm not in wrestling. I'm a tertiary figure in wrestling, but as a wrestling fan, you know, John and Gary gave me the biggest gift it's a top 5 moment in my entire life to have been in that match, and it was a lot of fun, and I can never thank Rage enough for letting me be a part of that.
Hey, I remember when you told me that was your dream, and I if I could help, I did it. You know, I'm glad I was able to help, dude.
So hands
and that
down,
match was a lot of fun.
No, it was great. It was great. I
still have not seen anybody knock a pair of glasses off and have it fly as high as it did when Nicoletta Ringwalker smacked you.
Yeah, no, and unfortunately that match has been lost because of what happened with the video on YouTube. But maybe a piece of it might exist somewhere. Let's see if
Yeah,
try
I'm
to
gonna
find
keep
it.
my eye out for that because that was classic.
But yeah, no, and from talking about the point of view, my whole thing because I was nervous. I mean, I've been in front of people my whole life performing, but the only thing I wanted to do was make sure I didn't make them look bad. My John can tell you, and anyone can. I was like, my biggest nerves were as long as I make you guys look good. If you guys look good, then I've done my job. Like I didn't want to look. I didn't want to do anything bad. I want them to look bad because they were doing me the big favor. So yeah, it was stressful, but it all worked out in the end. But yeah, no,
Yeah, it was good.
I'm a card-carrying member of the Rage Army, and I will be, and for a very, very, very long time.
Awesome, man.
All right. So we have another question from the Twitch, and it's what are your favorite feuds in professional wrestling?
Again, I can go to the wrestlers I always looked up to as a fan. I would say Jimmy Snuka and Don Morocco. Great feud.
Great ending too.
Yes. Let me think. I know I got Ricky Steamboat and Randy Savage. That was a great feud too. Thinking. I mean, and then you always had, your Stone Cold Vince McMahon feud, which I think really helped that whole entire federation during that time, get to where it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go with that.
And what about you, KAOS? That question.
I was always, because, I kind of grew up watching the Attitude Era, so I was always accustomed to the ones that, like, had the outrageous storylines where it felt like I was watching, like, what's that show where the people fight and it's like, you are not the father. That's what it felt like. And like
Springer?
Yeah, like it felt like I was watching Jerry
Or Maury.
Springer. I remember
Springer,
as
yeah.
a little kid, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Oh my god, these people
I was
are
a great
fighting
parent,
over each other's wives.
Keep watching it, honey. Bonnie's garbage,
Look at what Lita could do in the ring with Jeff Hardy. Just watch.
All right, and so Nico has another question. So if you would like to ask it. That delay what it takes for Zoom to actually allow audio.
Nope, it's just me and forgetting that I have two buttons again. I am, I swear I'm technologically advanced.
Use a VCR.
It's the paws and not the hands.
Yeah, it's,
Apparently,
not having
not the only
opposable
one.
thumbs really sucks, you know?
You should see me trying to get this camera to work.
Oh, you poor thing.
He's on his
I wish I
second
was
one.
there. I would try to help you the best I could, but anyway, I do a lot of like behind the scene things. A lot of I did an episode on another show that we have here in SRG called The Compound. Won't get too into it, but I did a lot of bruising makeup for one of our players, the Piercer, getting smacked with too many shovels on the head. Used some fake stage blood for the bandages wrapped around his forehead and stuff like that. So now I do a lot of makeup for Compound. Any advice that you guys could give me, like brushes, what you guys use for makeup and stuff like that? Because I really adore the makeup that you guys both have on.
Thank you. But KAOS is actually really good at that stuff. As far as like Halloween and like what you're describing, she's like practices with that stuff all the time. So she'd be the one to talk to about that.
Like sometimes, I'll be bored and I'll be like, oh, hey, this looks like fun to just do. And I'll come out of my room after a couple hours and my parents go, why do you look like that? What did you do to yourself? But, the makeup we use for this thing is we use acrylic paint, believe it or not, because it doesn't come off with sweat.
Yes. When you're wrestling, the first thing you think is like it's grease paint, but actually grease paint comes off with one headlock.
Yeah.
So someone told me use acrylic paints, and believe it or not, acrylic paints are great because it peels right off. So
yeah. And then personally, when it comes to like special effects stuff, I'm kind of on the cheap side because I don't really have like professional stuff, so I usually use like Elmer's glue and, you know, toilet paper and do the whole thing. This year for Halloween, I'm gonna try and look like Reagan from The Exorcist.
Ooh, I can't wait to see that. Keep me updated with pictures, definitely. And I appreciate the budgeting side of it too, because again, like COVID hits, not everyone has the budget they used to
it
anymore.
It can get so expensive.
Yeah, so appreciate that. Thank you. It'll help in summertime, especially with acrylic. You know, everyone sweats on camera.
Yes.
Another question we have from the Roach is, what kind of diet do you follow to stay so built?
Lots of protein and lots of beer. But light beer. Coors Light is always good.
Well, I'm not sure about the always good part, but yeah.
Well, next morning it depends, you know, how many you have. But.
Yeah. And the one question I keep seeing all the time is everyone wants a KAOS competitor set in the game. So.
Yeah, I mean, we got to talk to Steve Risk, and hopefully he'll come up with something.
Steve's still in here?
Steve!
Yeah, nah.
I'm here.
Yeah. Hope you're writing all this down. Everyone wants the KAOS competitor set.
And there's a lot of cool options with Rage. You know, you have a Rage Pop and Twist, a Rage Pop and Twist KAOS. I mean, these things are all definitely doable and possible. And it's really on you guys. If these are things that people want, we make it happen. You guys know how I feel about Rage and KAOS. Obviously, I saw a lot of special things in them when I first met them, and they treated me and my wife like family, great people, and those are definitely the type of people we like to support. So, definitely not out of the question.
All right, so it sounds like it's definitely something you just need to get together with and make a lot of people around here happy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Let's go, guys.
Yeah, come on.
I definitely like to see a tornado trio, you know, the ocean.
Yeah,
bank.
right?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yes, everyone loves the idea of a KAOS competitor set and a Rage and KAOS tag team in the game. So.
That'd be awesome.
Pay attention, Steve. You got money out here.
Take notes.
Yep. All right. So we're getting close to 7:30. So I don't know if you have any, if anyone has any final questions, get them in now. And Dustin, if you have any final thoughts.
I just wanted to say it was great having y'all on here. I appreciate y'all. You know, I sent y'all the invite and everything, and I was happy to have KAOS, have both of you. I wasn't sure if she wasn't gonna be on or not, but I'm happy to have you on here. Like I said, I first started really watching your matches when I first got into Super Show. So to learn who y'all are and to actually talk to y'all here, this is the first time I've actually ever got to really talk with y'all. It's been a pleasure, and
Thank you.
I appreciate all y'all do.
Thank you. Same here.
All right. So we do have one more question from the Twitch. And it's, what is your favorite stipulation or gimmick match you've been in or watched? With your love of Snuka, you'd think the steel cage would have to be one of them, but I won't speak for
I haven't been in a steel cage, but I would love to be in a steel cage. Rage in a cage, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, how does that happen?
What's that?
That seems like you could just print money with that.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Steve? No, what was I going to say? But actually, the match I was in a ladder match with 3 other individuals, and that match was pretty intense. It was very cool. Yeah, that was probably that match, and then it was the Coach Mamone match, which was
really good.
It was the career versus mustache match, and it was bring your own weapons.
Ooh.
So we had tables, we had chairs. What else? I think he brought a tennis racket with tennis balls that he was trying to hit me with, but constantly missed and hit everybody in the audience. I mean, it was good. It was a fun show.
Oh, that's awesome. It's better than the old cast iron frying pans people would bring back in the olden days.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, I remember watching a match where you actually did your move, the anger management, off of a ladder.
Yes, that's it. That's it. That was the match. That was pretty sick.
That was, which I love. I love gimmicks, and I love the finishes that are named, for the gimmick as well. Even in Super Show, they've got the anger management. And
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You feel better?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so... Anyway. So, any other questions, Dustin, before we wrap up? Or anything you want to plug? Oh, Mr. Papa Twist is back. Oh no, we gotta do another hour then if Papa Twist is here.
Yeah, we gotta start talking about this tornado card.
Alright, you have a question, Papa Twist?
No, I was just driving so much, and I finally got home, so I was going to wave and say hello without disturbing the show.
Well, I mean, when you come on video, everyone sees you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We're
I
happy you made it
I'm
home.
okay with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I guess we should be wrapping it up, Dustin. Do you two have anything else? I mean, I know you mentioned the match coming up in New Jersey, but anything else you'd like to plug before we head off?
The only other thing that's coming up is November. I can't remember the date, but it's the big event which they have in Queens at the hotel. I think it's near LaGuardia. It's basically where it's a huge autograph signing where tons of wrestlers show up. Me, Pitbull, Gary Wolf will be there. Who else is part of us?
I'll be there.
KAOS will be there. And a slew of professional wrestlers from a long time ago to today will be at this event.
All right.
So
Sounds awesome. Any final words, Dustin?
I was gonna go ahead and mention next week's special guest. It's someone that I would love to pay Rage to beat up, just to let y'all know. But it's none other than Public Enemy #1, TJ Marconi.
Very cool.
All right.
There we go.
I mean, I like Rage a lot more than TJ, so.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you know. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show. It was awesome.
Yes, thank you.
It was great, and learning more about you and what you loved wrestling. So, I guess for everyone on Twitch, that'll be the show, and we'll catch you all next time.
We'll see y'all later.
Okay, bye.
Take care.